Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to do a quick sort of like impressions, review, breakdown video on the new Denpa Men on Switch for those of you that are maybe on the fence about deciding to play this game, or maybe you need just a little bit of advice getting into it. Maybe you just started playing it. It is a free-to-play game, so you can check it out for yourself, but I'm going to do a quick intro video here for you to kind of give you my impressions. I think I'm about 10 or 12 hours into the game at this point, and I've been quite enjoying it. So what is this game? First of all, it is a Japanese turn-based RPG. And your party size is actually 8 members. These are all the little Denpa Men that are in my party right now. And as you can see, they all have really unique looks. Everything that you equip to them also shows on the character, which is really cute. So like if you equip a crest or a necklace, it's going to show on the character. The foot gear, the back gear, like everything that you equip changes how they look. So your little characters can really have their own little distinguished look to them. You can collect a bunch of other Denpa Men, and there are ways to kind of fuse them together. Let me just show you this up here, because I know a lot of you are into the Persona series these days, and this kind of reminds me of it. So you can limit break them, which means increase their level. You can come in here, you can fuse them together, right? So I'm not going to do it, but I'm just going to show you an example. They have to be a certain level and a max happiness, but if you go to combine them, it will show you like, hey, if you combine these two Denpa Men, it'll create this Denpa Men, and these will be the stats. Very similar to a Persona-like game. There is a money fee to do it, and this is how you begin to unlock some of the more powerful characters in the game. The next most important thing to realize about this is it is quite simple in regards to abilities. So if you look in the screen one more time, in the top left corner there, it'll say antenna, and it says small revive +3, small heal, falling rock, fireball. You see what I'm talking about right there? Every character only has one unique ability. So that essentially means your character that casts an AoE fire spell, that is all he's going to be able to do. Same thing for like water moves, healing. Your healer is a dedicated healer that only has a heal, and that is it. This character here is dedicated to reviving. So really unique. The best way to think about this game is you have one singular character, and you're sort of equipping 8 Denpa Men to that character. And then when you go into the dungeons, think of your Denpa Men as the parts of the main character, and as one gets killed, that part breaks and you lose the ability to cast whatever spell that Denpa Men has. It's a very simple system, but there is a lot of strategy and hidden depth to it. So I will take you guys into a dungeon to show you what the combat and everything looks like, but since I am still pretty early on in the game, my island here is a little limited. You can fish, so it's very similar to like Animal Crossing in that regard. I don't see any fish up right now. But let me show you how you get Denpa Men, which I also think is really important for you to realize. This isn't like a Pokemon game or something where you're just kind of finding them out and about. You come into here, you can turn on or off the gyro. I'm going to turn it off, and this populates based on your Wi-Fi signal. So if you're in a different area, I think it's going to show you different Denpa Men, but for me, I've been seeing different Denpa Men appear here and there. But you're going to want to look for Denpa Men that have a little antenna on their head, and that indicates what ability they have. So for me, unfortunately, all of these Denpa Men do not have antennas, which means they don't have abilities. I'm also going to get into the free-to-play aspect of this game in terms of like what you can expect from being able to play this game for free versus putting a little bit of money into it, because there's always a catch when it comes to free-to-play. So this here costs 3 jewels. The in-game cost for 1 jewel is $1. You can get 3 for $2.80, but you can also find jewels for free in the game world. But if you did want to catch immediately a more powerful Denpa Men, as you can see, their levels are pretty high. They come with some more unique or powered up abilities. You would come in here and you'd have to spend 3 gems to catch one. I caught one this way. I would not recommend that you do that because free-to-play gems are quite rare. I've probably only found about 11 gems in my 12 hours of playing. You find them in chests, and I think sometimes you get them from defeating a boss. There is apparently a mechanic in here where you can also trade in like pieces of gems to get 1 gem with this guy here, but I have yet to find a piece of a jewel. Sorry, they're called jewels, not gems. It says I will exchange 10 pieces of jewel for 1 jewel, but I don't have any, and I'm not sure where you get them from. It might be from one of the weekly challenges, but this is the main shop where you can come in and you can spend jewels on various items. Let me just show you what the jewel shop kind of looks like. And one of the most scary things, I would say, for most people, oh, this is the guy that actually buys my items, but let me show you what you can buy, because there are items you can buy in here that I'm not like super happy that are in here, because they are pretty busted in terms of how powerful they are. So you can see essentially 2 jewels just think of it as $2, about somewhere between $1.50 to $2, depending on if you find them, buy them, whatever, at a discount. So you can buy experience potions to get more experience, gold, vouchers, which is sort of just like sometimes enemies will drop a voucher, which if you collect all the vouchers for said level, you'll get like bonus equipment. Pretty useful. You can increase your critical, and this is where it starts getting bonkers. Now this applies when you enter a dungeon. This will apply, I'm assuming, for the entire dungeon. I haven't used any of these yet because I'm kind of saving my jewels. You can recover the HP of all of your allies every turn. You can full recovery down to allies every turn. Full cure. You can force enemies to stay for 2 turns, and this all costs jewels. You cannot buy this with gold as of right now. Now, I will say that I have found some of these out in the wild. As you can see, it says I hold 1 experience potion. I just found this off of a monster drop in one of the event levels. So, I will say, though, out of the 12 hours I've played, I have not put $1 into the game. But it has been very free-to-play friendly. I've never really faced an occurrence where I feel like, oh man, I got to spend money on this game. So it is extremely free-to-play friendly. When you start the game, you will just have this first level here, Cave with Great Treasure, and then as you beat each dungeon and scenario, it will unlock the next one. The writing in this game, super basic. It's actually kind of, I think it's machine translated, like they just plugged in the translation into Google and went with that, so there's some really shoddy translation in this game, unfortunately, so you will have to struggle at times to try and figure out what they're trying to tell you. But the way I look at it is, it's better that we got the game in the first place than not at all, so whatever translation they got to give us to get this game over here, I will take it. So there are events where you can go in here and just like, you know, it's rotating on a timer, as you can see there. Now, stamina is something that you got to keep an eye out for because you can kind of lock yourself out. Top of the screen there, you'll see I have 5 stamina. That is the max you can have. So to enter this experience dungeon, which I did earlier today because I ended up getting unlimited stamina, I maxed out how many times I can go in. It'll cost 2 stamina. But if you notice on the main dungeons, it costs 1 stamina to enter each dungeon here. So if you decide that you want to go back in and grind one of the earlier dungeons a few times, you're going to run out of stamina fast. But you can go to bed, wake up, have a max stamina. The stamina hasn't been a major issue yet. So keep that in mind, though. It is something where you may get cut off from playing, and in order to refill your stamina, you either need to get a rare item drop from enemies that will give you unlimited stamina for a limited time. Like I had one that gave me 4 hours of unlimited stamina. Or you got to use a jewel to refill it. So what do you say, instead of going to the newest area, I'm going to go back into the area that I was last on just to kind of show you guys the battle. So we're going to take my crew in there. We're going to skip on using experience up. And I'm going to just preview combat for you guys, give you an idea of how it works. Overall, I like the aesthetic, the music. I actually really like the music. This song here in particular is probably my favorite town theme. But this is how the dungeons work in this game. You come in, you're presented with a little scenario with a few NPCs. There's a lot of hidden secrets in this game, right? Just to show you what I mean. You could just be running around and you walk up here and it's like, oh, I found a hidden staircase. Okay. I actually haven't figured out how to get back here and get these chests shut. But there are a lot of secrets in this game, a lot of hidden staircases, a lot of hidden paths. So if you're a fan of seeking out hidden stuff, this game definitely has a lot of it. And yeah, the dungeons are really short. They're quite fast. This one here is the first one that has a gimmick with like trapdoors. Most of the dungeons are not normally like this. I hope at least. And enemies are visible on screen. So I will go in and show you first battle here. And yes, your party is huge and running around screen with you. So the way that battles work, there are 2 auto attacks. So if you hit the X button, which I'll do right here, all of your characters will attack at once. They'll all use physical and absolutely decimate most likely something if you're quite a few levels above it. I did some grinding earlier today, so I'm going to be pretty beefed up. And you get a little experience, you get a little bit of money. But if you wanted to kind of tell the game, hey, instead of just everybody auto-attacking, you can enter manual commands. And there's also another auto-attack where the game will choose to use spells for you. Let me see. Let me open up the next... Well, so I kind of forget the pathing here. Yeah, we'll go this way. It'll use spells and abilities on an AI system, and it's actually pretty good. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I'll show you the manual, what that looks like. You just come down and you can select each character. So if you're like, oh man, I definitely need to cast Revive this turn, or I definitely need to defend, or say you have to make sure that Water Gun goes off on the right enemy, you can do manual commands. But if you press the Y button, the go for it button there, all of your characters will automatically attack. In the case of me being really overpowered, they're probably not going to showcase it here. But they will, like, say somebody was low on health and somebody needed to be revived, your characters would do the appropriate spell, almost certainly. And the other characters will melee. In my experience, the auto attack in this has been pretty good. They're good at distributing attacks, and what do I mean by that? Is if there's an enemy with like 5 HP, they will send one character to attack that enemy, and then the rest to kill other enemies because they try not to overkill. The AI is not perfect, so let me just show you. We'll just use we'll use our fire ability or our water ability on this guy just to show you what a attack looks like. And then I'll hit all defend just so that we can show you what the animations look like. And that's it. That's this guy's only ability, and that's what he does, right? So it's a very simple battle system. The music's fun. The music's wacky. It kind of gives me a little bit of an Earthboundy kind of Opuna feel to it. I know there are other games in the series on the 3DS, which I have yet to play. Oh, and we got the vouchers, so that's a good example there. So you will randomly get these drops from enemies, and when you get every voucher from every enemy in the dungeon, it will fill up like a voucher stamp kind of board, and I'm gonna retreat out of here just to show you a different area. And you'll get bonus items. I've been able to do that on one level, and you get some really good equipment, so it is advised to do that. There's a lot of hidden areas, a lot of like secret places with higher level enemies that you can't get to until later in the game. How about we go to... you know what? Let me go to Casino Town for the first time. And we'll see. I don't know what the scenario is going to be, but just to show you a new area, and I can kind of experience it for the first time along with you as well. So, this one's actually got a bit more shops than normal. And this also gives you a good idea, too, of how the story goes and how the translation is. Yeah, it's pretty bare bones. I'm assuming they're probably not going to let me enter the dungeon right away. There's a place in the city that seems impossible to reach, but I wonder if there's a loophole somewhere. Yeah, so there's a lot of hidden things they're trying to tell me about. I'm assuming the dungeon might actually be in the casino. Let's see. Good old RPGs from Japan. They gotta have their gamble and slot machines. So yeah, all the NPCs kind of look like this. The writing and story is nothing to write home about. You're not playing this game for the story. They're kind of goofy. They're kind of silly. The game's got a lot of charm, though. Well, I don't want to like waste too much time here. I'm not sure how long this story is going to go on, but I think this hopefully gives you guys a little bit of a good rundown on how the game functions. I do recommend you check it out. It is free to play. Give it a try yourself. There's a lot of hidden intricacies that you got to play around with. It seems like the perfect kind of game to kind of wake up in the morning, play for half an hour, or before bed, and do a little bit of grinding, see how far you can make it. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to get down into the dungeon here, so I don't want to make this video go on too long, but hopefully that gives you guys a good idea. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about the game, drop it in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer it for you.